morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Monday and I haven't even had coffee yet. Oh my gosh. So it has been an interesting past week, and if you've listened to the last video, then you know my law of attraction has been really crazy. And it continued. Jeez, did it ever just continue? Like, it was just crazy all weekend. It was just crazy. And I mean, just experiences and just like meaning emotional experiences, not like crying or anything, but just feeling the emotions but not feeling the emotions. Like, I was feeling them but I wasn't experiencing them. I was just annoyed because of what was going on. So it was just a lot. And so there were some accidents. So you already know, if you listen to the last video, that I started my morning off crazy, with the coffee thing, and and I'm on a different route this morning. I'm on the 405. I'm buying the office donuts today, so I'm going to this place called Randy's Donuts because they have the best donuts. So that's why the view may be different for you guys today. Plus it's like 5:20 in the morning. So anyway, accidents. So it ended last night with me why did I get on this freeway? It ended with, do I need to get off this freeway? Do I need to abandon the whole donut thing altogether? Oh my gosh. I just see red. I just see red all over the place. Like, this is so ridiculous. Oh, this city is so ridiculous with traffic. Please don't come to a stop. Please. It would just be a continuation of my law of attraction. The fact that I'm even on this freeway to begin with. Anyway, last night I was at the grocery store picking up things, creamer and stuff for coffee for the office. And I forgot spoons. I was like, oh, I need spoons. And so I had already had my things on the conveyor belt, and so I was next in line. So I was like, oh, let me hurry up and run. I know where it is, and I just take off, and because I didn't see anybody in front of me. However, there was someone in front of me. There was a little person in front of me, a little girl, and she was running wild, I was running wild, and we both collided, and I went flying. And I guess in the moment, because I don't know, I guess I react. You know how your body react. It's like you react before you. I don't know. It's just weird. But anyway, I reacted before I knew what was happening, and so my hands went out, to lessen the impact of the fall, and all you heard was slap because of the floors of concrete, and it was weird because I haven't failed. I didn't just fall. I went flying, and so to where after I fell, I was sliding. So and so I was like, I'm trying to figure out what happened. Like, why did that happen? And as I turn on my back, to get up, I see this little girl on the floor, and then this lady. She was a Hispanic lady. She was mad. She was already irritated. I don't know if she was irritated at me, or she was irritated at the fact that her little girl was running all over the place, or she was irritated at the fact that she even had a little girl running all over the place. I don't know what it was, but I know she had a mean look, like an angry look on her face. And so I was reading it, and I was like, is she okay? But the woman didn't speak any English. So she's just like walking away, didn't even acknowledge anything that I was saying. So I was like, okay, well, let me just go up and get my spoon so I can hurry up and, do the next step, get it, go and pay and get out of the place. So that was my last law of attraction last night. And so I understand that means you need to slow down. Like, there's something you're moving too much, you're doing too much. And there's things that I'm not seeing, which is why these little accidents kept happening, because everything was like, slow down, pay attention, slow down, pay attention. Like, that's what the little law of attractions were telling me, and I knew that's what it was telling me, and I kept ignoring it, and that really it really ties into the video that I did before this one. I think the one on Friday, when I was saying, you know, that wheel was knocking and knocking, and these law of attractions are knocking and knocking, and I'm not listening. And so there's things that I wanted to do, and I knew that I didn't have to do them. Like, it was not a necessity, it was not a requirement. But in my mind, because sometimes I'm just so driven, I'm so goal oriented, when I have something in my mind, I just want to move forward with it. And so that's what was happening. And I knew that the accidents were telling me, slow down, take a breather. But if I took a breather, that meant that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. Like, there's things I needed to do around my house. Like, I was so busy this whole weekend working. And it was just a lot. But there's things that needed to be done, like my sprinkler system, you know, that I had told you about, a couple of videos ago. That needed to be done. Why? Because my plants need water, right? Like, that's something that's important. So, you know, I did it yesterday, but I didn't do it correctly. And this is part of the problem. I was rushing, trying to do this, trying to replace all kinds of things, like within like in half an hour. I was like, everything was just moving too fast. And so I was like, all right, last night was it. I was like, okay, I'm done. So this whole week, I'm not working the second job. I'm just doing my regular job, and then I'm going home, and I'm just taking care of myself and doing things that need to be done, rather than doing things that I want done. So anyway, I thought I would just put that out there. That my whole week last week was just crap. So so it was not crap like in a bad way, but a lot of things were happening, and I'm getting it. And that book that I posted on one of my videos, one with the yellow, the soul is the barometer to, no, the body is the barometer to the soul. When I posted that book, I have been looking for that book for months, and I could not find it. And yesterday, when I was fixing the sprinkler system, I was looking for the tape that you use to put on the thing, and I couldn't find that little Teflon tape stuff. And I was looking in the box, and sure enough, it was like right there in a box that I would have never ever looked in to find that book. How it got in there, I don't even know, but it was in the garage in a box. Why did I get on this? Why? My first mind said get on the 110 to the 10, then to the 405. But I turned on the map and it said 405, and I was like, okay, let's go. But I didn't even, whatever. All right, so today's topic, talk is, I don't even know. I really wasn't going to make a video because I haven't even had coffee. I just ordered coffee, but I didn't have it this morning. Let me see. Look. Hold on a second. Let me burn my lips for a little bit. All right. So, I had two topics, and they both left. I had them on the weekend. I was like, these are some really good things to talk about, Zach, and now they're gone. So I think I'm going to buy myself a little book, some kind of little tablet or something to write these things down. Or I can just use my phone. I guess, I don't know, whatever. So I want to, this whole weekend was about noticing things. So every time something would happen, I would, take note, and I would, ask myself, what's going on? And I noticed, I was kind of watching Facebook a little bit, and a lot of things were going on Facebook. And I have a friend, or Facebook friend, I'll say, who is all about just the Mandela effect, some dwarf stars, some planet coming, and all kinds of blue star, green star, this star, that star, like everything celestial, and everything is about, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, like this person literally lives in like in this state of worry and fear, and like something bad's going to happen, something's going to happen. And I actually know quite a few people like that. And the whole time I'm looking, and I'm even looking at people on the street. And this is one thing that I notice, a couple of things that I notice, is that the world is looking very foreign to me. And for a while, it's been happening for a while, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. I don't know, I just couldn't figure it out, but it was starting to look very foreign. And just the state of our world, just looking at it, it looks completely different than how I looked at it or how I viewed it even a year ago, even 2 years ago. It's just completely different. And anyway, so I was thinking about my friend who, is all about this, all these things that are happening, whether it's planet Nibiru coming or this, and everything has to do with extraterrestrials. Like, it's a sign that they're coming and all these different things. And I know what he's talking about because it's part of the whole Dolores Cannon thing. In terms of extraterrestrials and things that are happening and all these, different beings, and they're coming, and some of them are protecting us, and some of them are trying to do harm to us, and so it's all this stuff. And so my whole thing is, how does that affect you? Like, let's say that these things are coming. Let's say that these stars are going to pass, and this planet is going to come and possibly destroy the Earth, and it just, first of all, it's contradictory, because this is a person who believes that, the 5D Earth and everything, and we're going to, this wave of energy, right? So this wave of energy is supposed to come and transform everybody, and at the same time, you're supposed to have this planet Nibiru or Planet X come and destroy everything. And it's like, well, what's the point of the wave coming and making us all better and good and more loving, and then you have this planet that's also come that's just going to obliterate everything? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm just putting that out there for you people who believe it. Understand your beliefs. Like, use logic. Ask, question them. Like, all the different beliefs that you have, just look at them and see if they contradict one another. Because something that is true will not be able to be contradicted with something else. Like, you won't be able to hold the same thing. So just look at what it is and question it for yourself. But anyway, the thing is, how does all of this stuff that people know have to do with the soul? Because we're going to die. Like, that is something that's going to happen. Like, everyone knows that at some point we can pass away. And even though we don't die, and I don't even know, I guess transition, we can call it transition, but it's, we're going to be released from this body. But what happens? Like, what happens? Like, all these, especially the New Age people, they know all about, still being, having consciousness after we pass, but yet all these ideas of destruction and I don't know, whatever. I mean, the reason why it doesn't make sense is because it can't make sense, because it doesn't make, nothing is true. Like, these things are not true. It has nothing to do with the truth. So all these different beliefs that we have, whether it's religious or otherwise, it just that's why this stuff doesn't make any sense. Only truth makes sense with everything. Truth only makes sense across the board. Things that are not truth, and you pick things that are true, of course those will make sense, but only within this box and only within that box. Does it make sense? But I'm thinking, how does this affect your soul? Like, this person's like spinning out of control, worried about all these things that are going to happen. So let's just take the Mandela effect as an example. So fine, you have the Mandela effect. Let's say things are different. Let's say things are spelled differently now than they were in the past, and we are in what does that have to do with your soul? Since your soul is the one that is creating your entire experience, meaning your unloving experiences, the frustrating experiences, the good experiences, all the experiences. If your soul is the one that controls all of that, and your soul is the one that is the thing that continues on after we die from, or pass away, or transition from this place, like, how does all of that affect you? Like, what does that have to do with you? This is what we have to ask ourselves. Like, how does that really affect me? So something is spelled differently. How does that affect you going to work every day? How does that affect you saying I love you to your loved ones? How does that affect you going out to the movies and enjoying yourself and having a good experience? How does that affect you having an accident? Like, how does it affect you? And the bottom line is it doesn't. But it does, because it doesn't in terms of the actual things that you are focusing on, but it does in terms of the emotions that are created from your focus on it. So if you're always fearful that something's going to come and take your freedom away or take your life away, like, what's the point? Like, I don't get it in terms of people who are wanting to go to 5D and or 5D Earth or whatever, the new Earth, or being in a paradise. Like, all of that, like, this is what people are saying is going to happen, right? Whether it's here or whether they think it's in the afterlife, I don't know. Mainly people think it's going to happen in their physical, but it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So, if anything, you're going to have a different experience when you die. But how does that affect you when you die? Like, if you're so concerned about this wave of energy coming and taking you to 5D Earth, how does that affect you when you die? If it's pertaining to your physical, because this is what people are really concerned about. Everyone is looking through the eyes of the physical and understand that these things are going to happen in the physical. They don't believe it's going to happen when they die. They believe it's going to happen in the physical. So if we're going to die, like, how does that 5D Earth apply? Like, what happens? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, people are so worried about their physical life and they want things to happen. And honestly, the people who believe in this stuff do not want to focus on their own life, and so they create these things, these science fiction things, and some of them aren't even science fiction. Some of them are very real. The thing is, some of the things that are presented in terms of the event and the effects of the event, these things happen in the spirit world. They're not happening on Earth. So I know there's a lot of talk in terms of things that are going to happen in the spirit world. It's cold as I don't know what in here. 54 degrees. The spirits are the ones look, let's just go here. So all this information that we're getting here on Earth is coming from the spirit world. So these QHHD sessions. This is why I said in my QHHT dangerous video and the event video, like, the reason why I said this stuff in the beginning about these spirits, that are coming through and communicating. Everyone wants to believe it's the damn higher self. It's not your higher self. And I know you want to believe it, and that's fine, but that's not what it is. So all this information that's coming through in terms of the event, you think it's your higher self. Well, fine, think it's your higher self, but it is a part. If that's what you think it is, then you also understand from that perspective that it's a part of you that is in the non-physical, in the spirit world. It's not a part of you that's here, if you want to look at it that way. But it's not. There's spirits who are communicating through these clients and giving information. A lot of spirits know what's going on in terms of, it's no different than us knowing what's going on politically with our president, with our countries. Like, the whole world knows exactly what's going on. And so these spirits in the spirit world know exactly what's going on. They know about the changes on Earth. They know about the energy shift on Earth. They know all of these different things. They know that this is an opportunity for things to happen for them and for us. But we have to be aware of where this information is coming from. And this information is coming from the other side of the veil. It's coming from the spirit world. Well, there's a lot of things that are happening in the spirit world and that can happen in the spirit world that cannot happen here as our soul condition is in this moment. So it's important to understand where this information is coming from. The problem is, we here in physical form, people are but they have been accepting that information and the things that are happening in terms of the physical. This is how they're understanding it, as the physical, as it happening in the physical, and it's not going to happen that way. Things happen in the spirit world, but that's it. Is that fine? And so, we take on these things, these concepts that are given to us from these sessions or from these spirits on the other side, saying, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. and it's going to be different. Trust me, in the spirit world, yeah, there are different worlds, and we are separated, but we're separated by our soul condition, which takes me back to what I was just saying a moment ago. How is all of this stuff that you're focusing on affecting your soul? Because your soul is the only thing that should ever matter. It is beyond all things. Family, marriage, friends, all of it. It should be the number one thing that you focus on. It is the only thing that should be important, because that is going to dictate the friends that you do have. It's going to create the family that you do have. Because even though we're born into a family, not most people, but there are some people out there who have completely different families. Maybe they get married and they engage more with their spouse's family than the other one. Anything can happen, but everything happens based on your soul. Based on your soul. So this is why I talk about this stuff all the time. This is why I talk about it all the time. What about your soul? What's going on with your soul? What's in your soul? Clear out your soul. Get to know your soul. Because that's the only thing that matters. It's going to dictate your relationships. It's going to dictate the things that you have in your life, the experiences that you have in your life. It's dictating where you're going to go in the spirit world, and it's so important. Look, nobody wants to live in the hood. I'm not trying to say the hood is bad, but the hood is bad because there's a lot of things that happen in the hood. I'm not saying if you live in the hood, bad things happen to you, but I'm saying people don't want to live in the hood, and so you don't want to live in the hells. So the thing is, you want to make money, you want to generate enough money so that you can pay rent or buy a house in a decent area. That's so you have a good living experience. Well, the love is what's going to dictate your housing location, if you will, in the spirit world. And your housing location is going to dictate your experience, because it's going to be your environment. Well, if your environment is in a dark place, and that's all you can afford based on the love that you have within your soul, then the thing you would want to do is learn how to generate more love in your soul, which is why I'm talking about this stuff today, so that you can generate more love within your soul, have more love within yourself. And the thing is, you can generate your own love without God, but if you want to use God, that's like bonus money. That's like, hey, it's just the bonus, so it's just what's going on with you. Love is the most important thing. Money is not the most important thing, but love is equivalent to the money in terms of it allows you to access or have access to different things in the spirit world. That's it. That's all you need is love. You don't even need to work hard for it. You just have to be loving, and that is probably the easiest thing to do, but it's difficult if you have something within you. It's like what street am I in? 2 miles. Okay. So it's like love is the money that allows you to have access to different things. So you can go to, different stores and buy different things. You can go to the best of hotels if you want to travel. You can go on the best of cruises if you have the money. Well, love, it gives you that same access here and in the spirit world. So you don't even have to use your will. All you have to do is be loving, and it's already granted. Like, it's already there. Like, the universe is the laws of the universe have already been put in place to give you those things if you have love. Like, it's automatic. But those unloving emotions that are within the soul, those are the bills. Those are the bills that keep coming, and you have to spend your money on that. And that's what you're spending it on. It's like you're spending it on bills, and it's just taking your money. You're not really getting anything for it. They're just sending you bills in the mail. And let me see, what street do I get off of? Is it this one? No, not this one. I thought I was supposed to get off of Manchester. 1 second. It is Manchester. Okay. For those of you who don't live here in LA, you've probably seen this place in Iron Man. Randy's Donuts is, I don't know if it's a specific one. There's a few of them around here. But the one where Iron Man was sitting in that big round donut, that's where I'm going. Anyway, I thought I'd just put that out there. Yeah, you'll see it on the camera. But yeah, it's the debt, and you keep paying for it and paying for it. And the thing is, as long as you keep paying these bills, you won't have anything for yourself. And that's what's happening. You're not allowing yourself to have love, because every time it's like it's just being taken. Can I go straight? No. It's just being taken away from you. Just being taken away from you. You can't even put love in you can't put money in your bank account. You can't put love in your soul, because you keep paying for all these emotional injuries that you have within you. That's what's happening. That is what's happening. So, I don't know, people. I don't know. I mean, it's not the easiest thing to do. So, my suggestion is to get started on it now. Like, I understand why it's so difficult in the spirit world to progress. There it is, Randy's Donuts. Randy, are you feeling Randy? Oh, and it's almost closed. I mean, almost empty. That's good. Dun 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 dun. This place is so cool. So I don't know. What are you asking? I don't have anything. You need what do you want?
I was clean windows this morning. Well, help a guy with some breakfast.
I'm good this morning.
Shoot, I cleaned him up for a quarter.
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you much.
I don't want him cleaning my windows. I just had my windows clean. I should just give him some money. At least he's working for it. Well, if he comes back around, I'll give him some money. Oh, he's actually behind me. Hey, where is my wallet? Where's my wallet? So... sorry, this is getting loud here. Where's my wallet? Did I bring my wallet? Where is that guy? Where is he? I actually have a couple bucks right here. If he wants to get breakfast. Oh, where is he? Here.
Oh, man.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you much.
You're welcome.
God bless you.
So yeah, you know, I understand why it's so difficult in the spirit world, because, you know, like for instance, this video right now, the video just cut off, but I'm back. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get...
Hello.
Hi, let me get a dozen of the fancy and 1 dozen of the classic.
Anything else for you?
No, that's it.
24.30.
Did you take card?
24. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Can you make sure you put a mint at least? Yeah, the mint raised on the fancy. Yeah, thanks.
Let me see if they have.
Oh.
They make those a little later.
Oh, okay.
Might have the matcha.
Matcha. They got a matcha donut. Look, I'm gonna show you guys what they have. They have some pretty good donuts. Like they have the mint one, the matcha one. Oh, I should have got. I don't know. The premium ones, I wouldn't even eat those. But anyway, that's it. That's what they have there. That's why I come here. They have pretty cool donuts.
She said the men are ready like in an hour.
Oh, no, that's fine. An hour. I was gonna actually come last night, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to have day-old donuts for the people at work. That would have been messed up. Anyway, it's it's very difficult to do this in the spirit world, because when we lose our spirit, our physical body, we feel the pain so much more than we do. We feel the pain in our spirit body so much more than we do in our physical body. And if you've ever been sick, if you've ever had an injury like an accident or something, and you've been like laid out, then you understand that it's hard to think about anything else other than your pain. Like, that's what you focus on. That's the only thing you can focus on, is the pain in your life. Or at that moment, like even when you have the flu, and someone's talking about doing something that, that's fun, you're like, I don't feel like doing that. I'm just sick. Leave me alone. Like, oh, my knee hurts. Like if you have a knee injury, it's like you don't focus on anything that's positive. You can't, because the only thing you can focus on is the pain. And this is why we have the pain to begin with, for this reason, to stop us in our tracks and assist us with focusing on not focusing, but just to realize what's going on. And we don't do that. Oh, is that the one or is that the other? Oh, cool. That's it. Cool. Thank you. Okay, thanks. You too, thank you. I got the donuts and I'm ready to go, and it looks like I'll be at work a whole entire hour early. Ugh. I don't even know if the building is open. I know they open at 7, but I don't even know if it's open. So maybe I have time for breakfast. I didn't have breakfast. I don't know. But yeah, when you focus on or when you're experiencing your pain, you can't focus on anything positive, and you don't want to listen to anybody either. And this is why, when people pass and these celestial spirits come to them, because when you pass, celestial beings will come to you to offer their assistance, to offer their help. But remember, people, celestial spirits always respect your will, your free will, your desire, what you want. If you don't want help, they will leave you alone. So, and this is the thing, even on this planet, people have tried to help you one way or another, and you've rejected it because that's your free will. And if the person is a loving person, they'll allow you to just continue doing whatever you're doing. It's not because they don't love you. Like, I used to think if I didn't help someone, I used to feel if I didn't help, if I knew someone was suffering, and I knew they were in pain, and I knew that they weren't aware of what was going on, I thought it was up to me to make sure that they were better, like they were helped and they were okay. But if they don't want help, they don't want help. Like that is the right thing to do. And now I don't help people if they don't want it. If they don't want to hear what I have to say, they don't have to hear it. It's so much easier, and it's less stress on me, and just that in itself tells me that we are not because any kind of stress or worry, that's not supposed to happen. Like, we're not supposed to have those experiences, and the only reason why we have experiences like that is if we're engaging in something that we shouldn't be engaging in, or we feel pressure to do something that we really shouldn't be doing, or that we don't want to do. So now, when people are suffering, I just have to let them suffer. And life is so much better. Trust me, it's so much better. I used to feel guilty in the beginning. I'm like, no, this doesn't feel right. I have to help. But I had to understand that this is how I was taught. Like, I wasn't taught because they knew what the universal laws were. I wasn't taught, from the things that people learn from God's laws. No, I was taught from people who completely misunderstood things, and they were taught from people who completely misunderstood things. But now that I have a better understanding in terms of the law and laws that are here, that we're governed by, now that I understand my soul and how it operates and how it interacts with these laws, and and what happens when I'm engaging in a certain law. So if I'm engaging in something and I'm feeling bad, and it's because I'm involving myself in something, that means I shouldn't be involved in it. That means I should not have anything to do with what's going on. That's what it means. So now when people have an issue, I'm like, hey, the thing is, what I do now is I say, hey, do you want to know what that is? And people will say, what? And I'll tell them. And then that's it. They don't have to believe me. I asked them. If someone says no, dude, there's nobody in front of you. What are you doing? Jefferson. I'm hungry. It's 6 o'clock. My job is actually 12 minutes away. Actually, I should have gotten up there, but I didn't. I'll get off here. I think I'm supposed to. I don't know. I think I was supposed to go straight. Well, I want to go the long way. I don't want to get there too early. So yeah, when I see that someone is struggling, someone's having an issue, I'll say, hey, do you want to know what that is? And they'll say, what is it? And I'll tell them what it is. And some people believe me and some people don't. And that's fine. But at least I asked, I offered. That's the role that I have, is to offer. If, someone is suffering, offer assistance. And if they don't want it, respect their will not to have anything to do with it. That's easy. It made my life so much easier. I'm less stressed now than I was in the past. I think it's telling me to get back on the freeway, but I don't want to do that. Pull it up. I'll just take Jefferson all the way down. So yeah. Oh, I'm so tired right now. I don't even know if this video is gonna go up. Usually, if I'm really tired and the topic isn't really clear, or not clear, but just concise, I won't even upload the video. What else? So I went to the movies this past weekend, and I went to see Player One. And the only reason why I went to the movies is because T-Mobile has, their T-Mobile Tuesdays, and they had a $5 movie thing. So I was like, a $22 movie for $5, I'm on it. So that's what I went to do. So I did that yesterday. And it was an interesting movie. It was a very interesting movie because I see humanity moving in that direction in terms of the whole virtual thing. And like I used to rent rooms out to these guys who play video games, and that's all they did was just play video games. And though they weren't virtual, I really don't know where I am. Though they weren't virtual games, they were just regular video games. The same thing, the effect was the same. And if you haven't watched that movie, basically everyone's living like in crappy conditions. Like everybody's living like in trailers. They call them the stacks. And these trailers are stacked upon one another on these big frames, and it's just really just bad living conditions, like everyone's struggling. Their home is basically a mobile home or like a trailer basically, and so everyone lives their life in the virtual world, because you can pick who you want to be, and meaning you can be someone who you're not. Like there was this one girl or one lady who was an actual male character, and so that was her. And so this one girl, she had a birthmark on her face in real life, but she didn't have it in the virtual game. And so all this stuff, was happening. I'm like, but that's what's happening now. It's just not in a virtual game. So does that say no? Doesn't say no right on red. So let me go. So I'm watching this. I'm like, this is how it is now. Like, so anyway, the guys that I used to rent rooms to who were like gamers, the rooms were just, this one particular guy, his room was just a disaster. Like, you could barely walk in the room because he had so much stuff all over the place. And he would just go out and buy things and come home and get on the video game. Buy things and come home and get on the video game. And so there was just boxes upon boxes upon boxes, being in the recycling bin. I'm thinking, like, what's all this stuff, And then one time I had to go into the room, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, it was just a complete disaster. And the reason why it was a disaster, I'm sorry, I'm moving the camera. The reason why it was a disaster is because he wasn't focusing on anything in his room. He was only focusing on what was on that screen. That was the problem. He was not focused on real life. He was focused on a game. And so his life was suffering. That's what was really happening. And it's the thing that was happening in the movie. But they were beyond the point of being able to fix it. Like, they have the way society had, because the whole world was like this. Like, everybody had an avatar. Everyone was living in this game world. And it was just crazy. It was crazy. But that's what I see today, is I see people not focusing on themselves. And this is why this whole thing came up. The friend that I was talking about, or the friends that I was mentioning earlier in the video, who were all about, the Mandela effect and Nibiru and all these different things happening, and, the government this and the government that, and the Masons this and the Masons that, and whatever, the Illuminati, and all that stuff is distracting them from, what is going on here? It's distracting them from their soul, what's really important. So everything that we do here is distracting people from actually realizing what's going on with themselves. And so, since, and the thing is, these people in real life, they look crazy. Like, they just look like regular people, just unkept people. That's just what they look like. Go this way. And so I was just like, this is what's going on, like, right now. Like these people who are focused on all these things that are happening, that are supposedly supposed to be happening, they're focused on that. They don't even know what's going on with themselves, why they're experiencing the things that they're experiencing. They don't even ask themselves why they have to do these things to make themselves feel good, so that they ignore the bad things that are happening. Like, it's just happening all over the place. It's just not happening in virtual yet. But the thing is, it's going to get there. And it's already getting there, because people are doing this whole virtual thing, and pretty soon there will be these bodysuits where you do feel sensations on your body based on what's going on in the video game. Like, that's going to happen. Like, that's going to be a thing pretty soon. And I think they already have something where you can, I think it's something like you can, and they're starting to develop, they're already in development, where you can put this thing on your head, and they can make you feel or sense, like smell certain scents that aren't even there. So if it's an orange or chocolate, like, you can smell it, like virtually smell it, because they're tapping into the senses. And it's the same thing. I mean, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I don't even know. Maybe I'll be alive one to see it, but I hope I don't. Honestly, I mean, I don't want to be here with all that stuff. I don't know. This world is crazy. Like, I don't want to die, but I also don't want to be in a place where everything is like crazy. But the thing is, that the cool thing is, if my soul condition is in a place of love, I won't ever have to experience anything like that. People around me will be experiencing it. It's like a drug addict. So if someone wants to do drugs, they can do drugs, but their drugs doesn't affect me. Does it make sense? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with me. It's their experience. I don't have to choose that. So doing drugs is not part of it can't be part of my reality, because that is not in my soul. Like, I'm not trying to like hide like that. Like, I may suppress some things, but where am I going? Am I going to the right place? I don't know. I am way too early. I know where I'm going. I know exactly where I'm going to get some breakfast. Anyway, So that's what I wanted to talk about today. It wasn't a heavy video or anything like that. Yeah. So I guess just, be mindful of, continue to work on yourself. And Frank. I want to say hi to you. I'll send you an email to the response. I read your thing, but I was working this weekend. I didn't have time to really respond to you. Anyway, yeah, continue to work on yourself. That's the only thing that matters. If you work on yourself now, you'll see the benefits now, and you'll see the benefits later. If you don't work on yourself now, you won't see the benefits now, and you definitely won't see the benefits later. But I mean, now we have these things around us to, like, no matter how dark our soul is, no matter if you murder someone, like doctors murder babies all the time. So they're murderers. That's what they do. You have to have a dark soul in order to take lives like that. But yet they're able to have mansions and fast cars, fancy fast cars, and go on cruises and do all these things. So even though their soul condition is dark, they still, here on earth, we get to experience things, and it's not a representation of our soul, because we're using our will to get, like, they're using their will to do these things. And the way this world is constructed is you get paid for doing unloving things. That's how the world works. Money is not a creation of the creator. It's a creation of man. And we work for money, meaning if we work, a lot of the things that we do for money are unloving, and we don't know that. We don't see it as unloving, but we're playing a role, we're playing a certain part in that, and it's important to know that, because everybody wants money, but we have to be aware of what we're doing for that money. Like, at what cost, can we have that money to go on that cruise? At what cost are we willing to have our own needs met? Because sometimes our needs can't be met, and the reason why our needs can't be met is because of our law of attraction. But if we use our will, we can counter that effect. We can counter the effect of the law of attraction that we're getting that's meant to correct us. And the law of attraction is basically meant to bring up emotions so that you release them, so that you don't experience that lack anymore. Because you don't have to use your will to get money. I mean, there's many times I don't have to do anything and money just comes to me. But I don't have to work hard for it. The reason why I'm working hard for it now is because I engaged in some unloving things, and I have to pay for those things that I did. So, I interfered in other people's law. I talked about this before. I interfered with other people's law of attraction. And so when other people were suffering when someone suffers, they're suffering based on their soul condition. And they're like, please help me, I can't pay my bills, or I can't do this. Well, the reason why they can't do that is because of their law of attraction. So if I step in and intervene, that means I'm intervening with their progression, and that's an unloving thing to do. And so I have helped people and financially, and now I have to pay for that. So that's why I'm working so hard to pay that back, because I interrupted the flow that they needed to experience in order for them to correct themselves so they wouldn't suffer anymore. Because the bottom line is, all the people that I've helped financially, they're still suffering. They're still in the same boat, and they're still asking people for money and asking people to do things. I didn't help anything. I didn't do any. The only thing I created was suffering for myself. That's all I did, is create suffering for myself. If I would have never ever lent anyone any money or gave anybody any money, I wouldn't be working hard right now. Everything would be easy. Easy. But that's not what's happening. And so I have to pay this back. And the thing is, things can happen more quickly if I release these emotions. And for some reason, there's certain emotions that I'm not ready to release or willing to release. And some of them I don't even know they're there. Because I'm so used to blocking them all the time and suppressing them all the time. So for you, there's things that you suppress. Like if something happens, and this is something that the New Agers do, where if something bad happens, they'll just, oh, well, I needed that in order to learn the lesson, but they never learn the lesson because the lesson is emotional. It's not intellectual thing. So even for myself, when I have a law of attraction and things don't go, what is it going to put here? And things don't go the way that I wish they would go, and I just like, calm down, Zachary, just calm down. That anger that's coming up, that anger is supposed to come up, and I'm supposed to feel it. And then I'm supposed to ask myself, well, why am I angry to begin with? But I don't do that all the time. I keep it intellectual, and that's one of the things I know personally I have to work on. And so when I make these videos, I listen to my videos over and over and over again. I learn from my own words. Like, it's not just me talking and just leaving it alone. Like, I'll listen to it and I'll think about the things that I say. I'll contrast them with how I live my life, and I ask myself, am I doing those things? So that's why I really like making these videos, because I make these videos for myself as well. It's not just for you. I'm doing it for myself. Like, and this is why it's okay for me to make these videos, because I feel like the things that I talk about, I recognize and realize even more. And that's important, because if something doesn't stick the first time, then that means I need to go over it again. It's like learning math. And math is something I don't like, but it's like if you don't get it, you have to go back over it again. And if you don't get it, you have to go back over it again, because you need this information. Like, I know I need to release these emotions. I know I need to change some of the things, some of my beliefs and some of my habits. I know these things need to change. Just like a person going to school, they know they need to learn how to do this math in order to pass the test, in order to get the degree that they want. So I'm trying to get myself into a more loving condition so that I can be in better locations here and over there. So, it's not just, me making videos. Like, I make these things for myself. I have to love myself enough to do that. But more than that, I have to love myself to go over something when something doesn't stick. And so I hope you guys are doing the same. I hope you guys are, trying to improve yourself. And I know it's hard. This is not easy. It's not easy because we're so used to running away from our emotions. We're running away from, if we didn't run away from our emotions, we wouldn't have the struggles that we have today. That's just the way it is. Anyway, this is an ugly wall, so I'm going to end this video here and go get some breakfast, because I'm like 40 minutes early. So yeah, hope you guys had a great weekend. Thanks for listening. And if you have any questions or about anything, let me know. And for you people who keep making these ridiculous comments, these mean comments, I'm just going to delete them. I've been doing it. I'm going to continue to do it. Nothing has changed. It's not going to change. If you have a question about something that I'm talking about, I am more than happy to answer any question, if I so have the answer. But when you make these mean, hateful statements and ask me, what my thought is about that, I don't have a thought about that. You think about it. You think about why you felt you needed to write those things. I don't need to think about that. So I don't respond to those types of questions. I'm not responding to your statements. I'm responding to your questions. So I just wanted to put that out there, because some of you still feel that you guys can just put that stuff on there, and it's not going to affect me because I'm not reading it. Like, I already know where it's coming from. So keep it to yourself. But if you have genuine questions, absolutely, I'm more than happy to engage with you. I enjoy that kind of stuff. All right, everybody, have a great week. Talk to you later. Bye now.